Welcome to the Blue Cafe. We offer stories of infidelity, betrayal, and redemption. Please like and subscribe. Cheers. Now, on to today's story. To confront or not confront? Advice. Hey y'all. I'm curious what your experience with confronting the AP has been, and or if you decided not to confront the AP at all, what were your reasons? How do you feel about now? In a lot of ways I'm pretty far removed from the pain of my experience with infidelity. However, one thing seems to really pull at me and creates pangs of regret and confusion/anger was my inability/choice and unwillingness to confront the AP. She cheated on me with her ex at that time of 5 years. Lied about for a year. Was devastating. And after trying to reconcile, essentially did it again with someone new. As far as all of that goes, I feel comfortable with moving on and where I'm at. What kills me some days is the feeling of being inferior, scared, confused, and meek towards the AP. I simply wish I would have stood up for myself, but maybe I did by just walking away. I also felt like she was unstable and the AP was, so I did it out of tact, but sometimes feel I let myself down. Can you relate? My ex pleaded with me not to contact the AP because it would not do anything. And he's manipulative and he is just gonna laughs at you. I feel as thought I missed out on expressing my true anger and understanding the whole story. But it is what it is. How have you dealt with the AP? How do you forgive yourself? I did once when I was cheated on. I messaged her on Facebook and questioned her. She denied it. I told her I knew everything and threatened to tell her husband. She blocked me everywhere, so I just told everyone who would listen about it. Word got around. She's divorced with 4 kids now, looking like shit, and definitely not with my ex. If they are married or in a relationship, blow their life up. If not, let it go because they don't care about anything but themselves. I think you might have to consider what you would want to accomplish, truly accomplish, with the confrontation. You'll have to take into account the different ways the AP may react and how those actions will affect the outcome. Overall, it's my belief that it does no good. APs typically just don't care. If you release your anger into a person that doesn't care, I doubt it'll do you any good. It might even add to what you're feeling now. All of this to say that I also understand. This is a feeling many of us can relate to, so you're not alone. There is light. Advice. Hi all. I write to you all to remind you that whatever it is you are going through right now in regards to infidelity, will pass. There is life on the other side of the reveal. I spent 5 years of my life dedicated, imperfect of sure, but dedicated to someone I thought I would ask to marry. After finding out about a motel hookup with her ex, I tried so hard to forgive, to be someone who could give grace. To see her better angels. And to my unfortunate end, I played tennis by myself, running back and forth trying to keep a relationship that was dead, alive. Therapy without her, excuses as to why she couldn't, finding emails between them even after the reveal, etc. etc. And after a move to a new city, it happened again, someone new. My wits regained, I walked away. And for a year I've had to deny them of another chance, which in theory sounds like sweet sweet revenge, but those of you who know how complex this can be, it was so hard to not give them another go. But I chose myself. I trust myself. Weight loss. Confidence destroyed. Trauma and shock on full display. My reality was flipped. But guess what y'all, here I am. In love with the person I am becoming. Free of a relationship that was drenched in mystery, uncertainty and deceit, all of which at the time I felt was sexy and exciting. Are you pulled back to your pain when you least expect? Are you more wounded than you thought? It's okay. We all are. This journey of infidelity is always a blessing in disguise. For you would not be who you are without it. And look at this beautiful community that we've created. Look at the strength you are displaying. Look at how grounded you are. We ask why me? But so does everyone in this life. We are not unique, our pain is not unknown. We do not choose the trauma, we do not choose the pain, but we certainly can own it and craft it into our journey. Forge it like a ducking shield that we will wield to move forth with courage. I am over 2 years removed from the reveal and in relationship. I'm finding love again, not just in a sweet human but myself. Pangs of grief and sadness roll in like serious weather systems determined to derail me from my path, but alas, I now know my strength. Love to you all, wherever it is you are. Your post is awesome and so full of hope. Thank you for writing this. So very helpful. I love your analogy of playing tennis by yourself. That is a very real representation of my situation as well, before the separation. Yours is a true success story. This is full of hope and about regaining that part of you lost in a relationship with infidelity. Unlike some of the guys who have posted on here, you actually had the self-respect to leave when you knew she wasn't going to change. This post proves that leaving the cheater and finding your better self is always the best option versus staying with someone who doesn't value you. I read too many stories from guys whose wives have cheated more than once or had a months-long affair, and they either stay for the kids or out of fear of being alone. It's sad and pathetic. Remember folks, there is always a way out from a cheater. There is light. A tool for the community? Indicators of healing. How do we evaluate our healing? Advice. Hey lovely community. I thought it might be helpful to develop a thread for those who feel like they are in the worst of it, the thick of the battle, and for those who might be a few years removed but still find the healing process to be confusing, convoluted, and have a hard time knowing if they are moving in the right direction. I write this 2 years from D-Day, 5-year relationship, and 1.5 years of letting go, 9 months of telling my cheating ex stop asking for another chance. I finally feel, although I'm making serious progress after feeling completely stuck, ruminating, playing victim, confused about if I made the right call to walk away, etc. etc. I'm hoping you can share your indicators of healing, your evaluation of what healing feels and looks like. For me, I no longer ruminate about what ifs or what they are doing. I'm free to focus on my own life in a way that is genuine way. This took approximately 1 year. I used to confuse the mystery and drama of the relationship with me ex-cheater and liar as a necessity to sexuality and excitement. I found after walking away I used to crave it. Found everyone boring. I now prefer open communication and clarity as an indicator of a real relationship. Thank God. This took about 1.5 years to overcome. Give us your indicators of healing. Below. Love to you all as we all navigate this monster. Actually, there is a formal assessment tool, the Fisher Divorce Assessment Scale. You could take it once a quarter to see how you are doing. Congrats on your healing progress. You are doing better than most, I think. Confronting clarity, years beyond the relationship, standing up for ourselves advice. Hey all. I'm noticing, as I heal, almost 2 years removed and in a new relationship, I find that some of the most difficult things to adjust to understand realize is that after D-Day and after essentially attempt at reconciliation and another D-Day, that I treated myself like shit. And more importantly, I was treated like garbage. All the normal things, gaslighting, lies, manipulation, stonewalling. All of these tactics deployed have not totally sunk in until now that I was begging, pick-me dancing, ignoring red flags, assuming responsibility for her cheating because I didn't support her art etc. I took that shit on and assumed it was all me. Until now. Now, 1.5 years later, I see it all for what it was and is. Which is a continued salve on the process of healing but also confusing information. Have those of you have taken serious steps to heal, with some time past, realized the same thing? There is a part of me that so badly wants to write a letter letting her know I see her for who she is. I mean, I feel like I did share some of this when we were in the thick of it, but now I don't feel like I stood up for myself nearly enough. It sometimes, infrequently hurts to feel that she gets to move forward in her life without fully understanding what really went down, about all that is left of my hurt, but my sense is the best thing to do is keep the boundary and no contact strong, which in some ways feels more powerful than continuing to go back and forth. Anyways, how do you deal with the clarity that you now have? In one sense it is our healing, in another it is simply more to confront. Would love to hear how you'll deal with it. Write it all down, write her a letter but never send it, either burn it or keep it aside. If that's still your thinking, maybe you haven't fully moved on. A letter won't make you feel better, and she either feels shitty or she doesn't. You have someone new. Spend that energy on her. Clarity, closure and all those bullshit concepts are just ways of keeping a toe in the door. I think we all realize, after the fact, that we were too deep to make good decisions. There is nothing to be gained by sending a letter, or even breaking no contact at all. She knows who she is, and what she did, but will continue to paint herself in the best light possible. Just leave it be and keep healing. A letter will tell her she still has power over you and that she can still pull your strings. I understand your desire, had it myself. But whenever I succumbed to it, I took 10 steps back in my progress, because I realized that the waywards don't really give a shit about you or your progress. It's just not worth it. I'm only 3 months into D-Day. I've written hundreds of letters, emails, texts, stating how I feel. I haven't sent a single one. Want to be at the May stage so freaking badly. This pain is at times intolerable. Love and positivity to all who walk this journey, heart. On friendship post-separation. Advice. I'm almost 3 years removed from D-Day, 2-ish from separation of cheating ex and in new relationship which is going great. I'm writing today to hear advice and your thoughts on how you've handled friendships post D-Day and beyond. In my particular circumstance, my ex and I came from a very small community of close friends. It was our home and the closeness was our everything. However, after D-Day and many years, 2 things took place. 1, she had no guts to tell anyone in the community what she did. We attempted reconciliation for 1 year. 2, I told a small group of my male friends and felt like they didn't support me in the ways I needed, not on them in that I should have expressed my needs. I know this now. So here's the dick. My ex is still very connected to that small group of friends. They support her and have continued on as if nothing really took place. In attempt to not be seen as resentful, I've mostly stayed quiet except on a few occasions to share my side of what happened. I'm confused, frustrated and feeling like I need to cut out an entire group of homies out of my life, and it hurts to come to the conclusion. However, it feels like in order for full freedom into what's ahead I need to let go. Especially since there is still continued engagement with someone who cheated multiple times on me, put my health at risk and ducking lied. I often think how I would have been treated if I did the same to her. Anyways, I would love to hear your experiences and any advice on friendships post D-Day. I love this community. Thank you. I don't keep people around me that are toxic and support toxic behavior. To me, the people you are talking about don't really sound like what I would call a friend. The part of letting things go and moving on is really separate and it takes time. If she is around in some way, shape or form and your friends support her, you will never really get the betrayal off your mind. It's hard to heal when the knife is still in your back. You have to choose what will work for you, but me personally, I cut everyone off that took my ex-W's side and listened to her lies. It's been 13 years since, and that is not a regret I have at all. My only regret was staying with her for as long as I did and trying to make it work, knowing full well she will always be a cheater. Living life well is hard sometimes, but the more you invest in yourself and surround yourself with truly good people, the more you will get out of it. Word. I appreciate this sentiment/thought a lot. The other piece of it is I don't live near that community anymore, but every once in a while they pass through the city I now call home to connect or call or text. But yet usually just makes me anxious. The question I have though is that people who have not experienced infidelity don't seem to understand the depth of the darkness, so is it a lack of knowledge? Do I spend time trying to share my side and educate? I think I know the answer, but trying to complicate the thought a bit. On healing and gratitude, a long story of mine. Post-separation. Long. I've been a part of this sub for a while now. In so many ways this sub and you all who make it up have been unbelievably generous and thoughtful. So many folks who have not been through infidelity have no idea how to relate. It is easy to feel isolated, alone, and even as if you are overacting or the problem. What a farce that cheaters/betrayers and liars of the world have created. To me this sub is a powerful group of folks reclaiming their lives. So, thank you all. I've never fully shared my story here, and I think I have decided I want to. In so many ways I feel free and far from it. Over 4 years from the first day and almost a full 2 from the relationship itself. I met my ex my senior year of college. She was in a relationship at the time. She was with them for 4 years, left them an instant once we met. This should have been my first red flag, it wasn't. And to be fair, she left him because of emotional abuse. He was manipulative. I opened up my home to her, gave her a space to crash. I saw someone in need and my savior self fell in love, quickly. We were entangled almost from the get-go. A curse and blessing of being young. A second red flag I ignored, unconsciously or not, I'm not sure, but she would almost constantly speak of her ex the first year. For obvious reasons, no closure had taken place, no space had been given. But I took it as a challenge, something we had to overcome to get on the other side of love. An important subplot is that my brother is an addict, and as I met my ex, my brother was going through some of the most intense addict shit possible. Codependency was real for me with him and her. I confused love and lies. Saving and support. A psychological mixture deadly enough to leave you vulnerable in a way that is frightening. Giving yourself endlessly to empty versions of folks, leaving you empty. By year 2.5, she would bring him up sporadically, claiming he said he was gonna kill himself at some point and she worried about him. I tried to be though full and careful with it, cause I didn't know what else to be. Again, a red flag. Her worry about her ex was never mine to burden, it was never mine to solve. I know that now, I did not know it then. I would console and support. Try to fix. We were, as far as I was concerned, in a deeply committed relationship. The time came for us to leave where we had been for over 5 years, year 3 or so of our relationship. We would travel to my family's home country, a special trip for me, and excited to bring around the love of my life to my family in a far-off world. Before the trip she wanted to spend time at her home here in the States. We were separated for about 2 months. During this time she was essentially stonewalling me. I was anxious and could tell the distance was odd, but I just loved harder. A sad reality I think many of us have to reflect on after we find out we had been duped. I got a call from her telling me that her ex was in a nearby town and she wanted to meet up and get coffee. Red flag. But again, I was anxiously attached and trying to save and keep it all together. So I told her I trust her and I would like for her to call me instantly after they met. She agreed. Told me not to worry. That day, she went, then texted me telling me she was running late getting back, red flag, and would call me in the morning. She did. Played it all off like it was cool. It was a nice meetup and it was healthy. I was a wreck inside but was unable to stand up for myself at this point. Fast forward about a month later, we are on the trip abroad. I bring her to my family's land. I bring her to meet my ancestors' homeland. She is distant, uninterested, and most importantly for those of you reading this as a lesson in your own life, she had no interest in intimacy, rejecting my advances almost every evening. I was so sad, so confused, but I chalked it up to her being her quite distant artist self. Gross. Each evening she would write incessantly in a journal after our travels of the day, hardly talking to me. It was about 2 weeks in I woke up and my genitals started tingling very odd. I had gotten a treatable STI in my past and I felt like I was experiencing similar symptoms. I awoke that morning to shower, and in the shower it all clicked. I got out and saw the journal on the bed. I quickly flipped it open. I found myself reading a poem about a sensual motel meeting. I threw it down and felt like I knew instantly. I walked downstairs to her in the morning light. Nervous but confident I had found something. I told her I was feeling off and I needed to know if she has slept with someone. Can you all guess the reaction? Denial. Anger. Disbelief. I would look at her shit. I was stunned. I had been so sure. Enter PTSD and the erosion of trusting yourself. Betrayal is the king of stealing your crown. I chalk it all up to me being paranoid. Damn, as I write this I realize how sad I truly was during this. Woof. Fast forward to the first D-Day. We return to the US. And of course my brother is ducked up and detoxing on my living room couch. Breaking my heart. My ex tells me she is here for me and my family. I trust her. Then 2 days later I awake feeling the tingle again. I simply state I feel weird again. She breaks down. She tells me she slept with her ex in a motel. Here comes the saddest piece of the story. I begin to console her. I'm heartbroken. Confused. But I'm seeing my brother in her. I see someone broken. I see an opportunity to love. She convinces me that 2 things. 1, do not contact the AP because he is crazy. 2, she convinces me it has brought her to the light, that she wants kids and marriage, which I was talking quite a bit about at this point in our 5-year relationship. Again, I believe her. I spend the next year committed to reconciliation. I go to therapy, I read articles, I set my boundaries. This is where you all in the throes of it need to be careful. She said all the correct things, but she did not do anything. Made up excuses about therapy. Too expensive. Too busy. Also to note trickle truth about what happened that Eve is ongoing. From we just had one night of sex to okay we had sex 3 times to oh I actually met up with him when we first started dating but we never had sex. Fast forward about 6 months into recon. She receives an email from her AP, she tells me 2 days after. I ask to see her response. It is a lame duck. Hey, I'm happy now, please leave me alone, with hearts at the end of it. I'm upset and ask her to rewrite something. Again huge red flag. But here I am, fixing, trying to save. Trying to keep it all together. From this point on we agree we need to move and change our environment. We move from a community we love. This is where it all is thrown into chaotic second half of recon. Still no therapy. Still no real North Carolina with AP. Still me saving something dead in the goddamn water. We move, I begin a very difficult new job, making more money to pursue our dreams. She is unemployed and sitting around the new town. She gets a easy job making no money, she meets a coworker and the story repeats. She tells me it is time to see other people. I beg her not to leave me for a coworker. She does, essentially. She leaves me in a new city to go back to our beloved community. Not telling anyone there what has transpired. All the while texting me, her ex, and her coworker. I find my feet and finally walk away. I then receive a call from the AP's girlfriend of 5 years. She just find out about their motel meetup. She is in a psych hospital on suicide watch. I cannot believe the reality I am in. The line is drawn. I'm done. I begin weekly therapy, I think an absolute necessity if you have experienced infidelity. She comes crawling back. Begging, this is a year later. I tell her stay away. I eventually break. I go back but in her presence I feel lesser, I feel totally unhinged. And I feel like him in the presence of some kind of evil. I walk away. Finally it is done. North Carolina. And from that point it has been over 2 years. Woof. A lot, huh? Thanks for reading. Feels good to get it out. I'm so grateful to be free of her and of my desire to save. I urge you not to overlook any red flags, my friends. Trust your guts, or genitals, and love yourself. Get the duck out and begin your new life today. No one deserves your endless attempts. Only you. I now am in a relationship with someone who is a clear communicator, loyal and thoughtful, and I am endlessly grateful. In so many ways I am stronger and more wise because of the journey, and that sometimes can be confusing. But this life is not here to be easy on us, it is hard for all of us. Thanks for taking a moment. Love to you wherever your journey is. Thanks for sharing your story. I'm glad she's out of your life and you're in a new relationship. So did she give you an STI? Nope. Literally my body telling what was up. Glad to hear. It's amazing what our bodies/instincts tell us. We have to listen/we have to trust ourselves. Yeah. It's a hard lesson to learn when you've wasted years. I say goodbye and thank you, all. Progress. Oh goodness, this sub literally saved my soul from slow, gut-wrenching, heartbreaking pain for who knows how long. You sped my recovery and gave me resources I would have never had found on my own. I'm realizing that my journey is now asking me to lay to rest this part of my life, for now, maybe for good. I am in love again and moving on into a future I want. I enjoy trying to support others in their early stage, but am realizing that I am addicted to the emotional highs and lows. I want out of the heady space this shit produces. I now have the privilege to decide that after years of therapy, self-love and new relationships. To anyone in the early stages of this process, be patient, love yourself, and know that it is a long, hard road, but at the end of it all, if you take the journey seriously, you will be transformed for the better. To all those further along, in new relationships, in a new place with yourself, the pain will continue in waves, for a while, maybe for the rest of your days, but it will never define you/us. Don't get stuck here. Move on and forward into the life you deserve. Thank you for all the love and support, the courageous stories of those of you who have shared. This shit is a gift to humanity. Cheaters only win momentarily, truth seekers and those of us trying to live authentic lives will win out in the long run. You are loved. You are not your trauma. And recovery and new love is real and possible. I believe to be an example. May you be the next one. So long for now, my friends. We hope you have enjoyed today's episode. Please comment, like and subscribe. Cheers. Have a wonderful day or night. Wherever you are.